Hey everyone, this is Nate and this is the Nader Tater channel. All right, I have 4 beautiful ladies here. I have my wife on the end, and then I have it going down to Elise, Ruby, and Holly, all on electric ATV. So what I want to show you here is how they're different and what different levels of electric ATVs get you. So you can see here we have a big, I would call it a dirt track, but it's really grass track because it gets grown up. But this is a track that we'll do some testing on and show you. So let me go into quick details of each one, and then we'll go through all the specs and everything a little bit later after we get some driving impressions. So here we have Holly. She's on a Perego. It's a Polaris Outlaw pink power one. 12 volt, goes up to 5 miles per hour, plastic wheels, but it's good for her size. She's 4 years old. We have Ruby here on the CFMoto. This is a 36 volt system. It's got 3 speed settings from 6 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour, and then like 15 miles per hour. I replaced the lead acid battery of this one with a lithium ion battery, still 36 volt, and it does pretty well there. It does have a metal frame, whereas the Perego has a plastic setup. Next one here we have Elise, and she's on a Kayo EA70, so a 70cc quote unquote size. That one is also lead acid. It's 48 volts and a 20 amp hour battery. So you can go, we go from 12 volts, 36 volts, 48 volts on this guy. And this one has a couple speed settings as well. We have it unlocked to the top one, which is kind of somewhere between 15 and 20 miles per hour, depending on the situation. Metal frame, as you kind of expect with that one, hydraulic brakes and that kind of stuff, whereas the little CFMoto one has cable brakes. And then next, we just got this one. This is the CFMoto EV110. Now this one is a lithium ion battery. It is a good standard ATV frame. It's metal. It's 110cc size. That's the EV110 comes from. And then they claim, you know, you can get like 40 plus miles of range on this guy, but we're going to test that out. We literally only have like 6 or 7 miles on it. It does have a phone app. I'll show you that later, where you can change some settings, speed control, and that kind of stuff in the CFMoto one. All right, so let's see these guys go. I'm gonna have them each kind of drive as fast as they feel comfortable. So we'll have them all take off and come back here and see where it goes. Go. Sorry, what happened?
My ATV stopped.
Why did it do that?
Because it went out of batteries.
It ran out of batteries. Guess that one's retired. I'm so sorry, sweetie. What do you want to do about it?
Fix it.
All right, Ruby, what did you think of it?
Good.
Did it go up the hills and everything?
Yeah.
Did you fly off the seat at all, or did you stay on the ground?
I stayed on it.
Stay on the ground, didn't jump? Okay. All right, Elise, what do you think of it?
It's so good.
It's good? Is this one pretty quick?
Yeah.
Do you want it to be even faster, though?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you want to hop on the EV110 over here?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you say, Les?
Fast and smooth.
Nice. All right, so now we have Elise on the EV110, and she's ready to go. It's unlocked. It's in sport mode, and the speed limiter is unlocked, so it's about 28 miles per hour top speed is what they claim. So we'll let her rip and go. All right, so one point about the electric ones is this EV110, it definitely has like a soft start to it, and it has a E mode and a sport mode. So this is the E mode, that's the sport mode, and the E mode limits the amount of power that it's going to deliver, and it also limits the amount of speed. I think it's like maybe 13, 14 miles per hour, what it appears to be, even when it's unlimited in the app. But something I found is that on steep hills, it doesn't have enough low-end torque to actually get up them. Now, I think it has the torque. I think it's software limitation. I don't know why they do that, maybe to stop wheelies or whatnot. But so this one's not very steep. This is a hill. Maybe it's always hard to kind of tell in the footage. But try to drive up that, Elise, and she's in sport mode. It goes up it. Okay, so come on back down. All right, now press the brake. Okay, now shift it to E mode. Okay, now try to go up it. All right, so it still makes it for her. All right, so this is me in E mode to try to go up this hill. I barely made it. If I'm going backwards at all and I press it, oh, it still got me. Okay, so it barely goes up. This is the hill that it will go up. All right, so in sport mode, if I go on this hill, it actually didn't even go. It just stops. Oh, it's gonna, yep, all right, it's gonna make it. So, but it has a lot more power than that. If I go back and I get some speed, and I get going on the flat, it's plenty powerful to get up this hill. So that tells me that I think it's a, I don't think it's gearing, I think it's really a software thing that it does. So on a steeper hill, that one does get stuck. You can't stop on the hill and go up it. And then the reverse is definitely very, very neutered for torque. All right, so this is the reverse. It has very limited torque in reverse. It can't even go up this hill if I get a running start on it. And definitely if I stop and try to back up this hill, it's not gonna go. I'm full throttle, it's trying, but it won't go. So this is not that steep of a hill, really, in my opinion. I mean, this is me standing upright. So that's my biggest complaint about the EV110. Otherwise, the thing looks pretty awesome and seems to do really well. All right, so now we have Elise on the ATV in reverse up the hill. And you can see it barely does do it. So obviously rider weight is part of the equation. All right, even though I am way oversized, this is the EA70 and this is the same hill. So if I try to go up it, it actually does, I think, a better job than the CFMoto one does to go up that hill. The EA70, I can stop on the hill and I can hit the gas and it will make it up without a problem. Now I can even turn this one around and see what it does. Okay, so now I'm in reverse and we'll see how this one does. So it has more power than the EV110 and I'm even more overweight to it. So this is more what I would expect. An electric, it should have plenty of low end torque. That's when they have the most torque. So I think the EV110 software limits it. All right, so now we have the three ATVs. The little Peg Perego one is still out there on the dirt track because the battery died. I won't say much about that one. That one's a Power Wheels type vehicle. So obviously it's got a 12 volt, 7 amp hour, I believe, battery. It's about 4 years old. It will do pretty well on the concrete out here. Driving around on the flat, it will go on short grass, but if you put it on the taller grass like we have out there on the dirt track, it does kind of slow down and then it drains that battery a lot quicker. So that's why hers died out there. It's great for a little suburban area, but obviously if you want something to go on trails, you really got to step your game up a little bit for one of these guys. So on this GB Moto one, it's you know, off-brand. I bought it online and it does have a metal frame. It tries to say that it has suspension, but it is probably the worst suspension I've ever seen. It is super stiff. Even if I take my body weight and try to push on this thing, it does not really squish down. So it is super stiff. And then it doesn't have any like ball joints. I mean, I guess it does have one for the steering. You have to have a little heim joint there. But otherwise, it's basically, you know, it just kind of wears out. It's about 5 years old, so it's a little bit loose. All the joints are. But it does work, so I have to give it that. It's lasted quite a while of a lot of abuse. I did lose the lead acid battery after 2 or 3 years, so I did replace it with a lithium ion one. But same capacity, it's a 36 volt unit still there. And then we do have air rubber tires, which is great. It's got the motor back here and it's got a chain drive to do that. All of the brakes, of course, are just cable driven, so they're pretty loose and sloppy, but they do work and slow the machine down. The throttle itself is a twist throttle. We have a battery indicator. It's not perfect because it tends to go down in lights when you're driving, and then when you stop, the lights go back up because the voltage changes, but it does give you an indication at least of your battery if it's starting to drain down or not. And then over here, if we take the key in this slot here, this gives you the different speed settings. So that is like 6 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour, and then about 15 miles per hour. So I typically leave it in the 10 mile per hour for my 6-year-old, because honestly, going faster than that on this little skinny narrow one is more prone to flipping over. And so for this one, charging is very easy. I just have a little port there that I plug it in the garage with a little adapter there. Now the Kayo EA70, obviously this is like a 70cc type size vehicle, and Kayo makes gas ones as well. So it's basically an electric version of their gas 70. So this one's really designed for younger kids. I think it says ages 6 and up. So it, obviously you can supervise them if they're under 16. But that's about the right size for those, or the riders, I would say. On here, it's a nice metal frame. We do have a working suspension that is stiff, but it does move, so it's, the front's really stiff, but the back does move pretty good. You have real ball joints for the steering, but then for the knuckle there, you have like little bushings in there. So not perfect. You do have bushings for those inner ones that you don't get any bushings on the little Go or CFMoto thing. You have hydraulic disc brakes up front, dual disc brakes up front, and single hydraulic rear disc brake in the back. And you always have your handles, no foot brakes on this unit at least. But I do like that it has parking brakes on both front and rear, which is kind of a nice redundancy to have if one's kind of loose. So on this one, it is the batteries there in the middle. You can see it has what looks like a cover for an engine, but that's actually the battery in there. And then when you key it on, you can see it gives you an odometer, shows you 82 miles, and then you got your speedometer, and you got your battery indicator. That odometer changes to like a trip after a little while. There it goes. So now it's a trip odometer for you to tell you how long you've been riding on it. The controls on here, you have a start stop that kills the power. Then you have your hand throttle that or thumb throttle that works for gas. And over here we have our lights. We have forward and reverse. You can see when you hit reverse, the little red light comes on to tell you that you're in reverse. And then you have a pretty loud horn that is good for getting attention of the parents if the kid needs some assistance and you're kind of further away. It does have the lights. Let's see if I flip them on. They're not super bright, but they do give you some light. I wouldn't rely on them for like deep nighttime riding by any means, but they do help some visibility there. And then lastly, they can show you the speed setting. So if I pop the seat here and we look underneath here, you have a breaker for the main breaker for the high voltage system. But then right in front of that, you have a little indicator that's a speed setting. So they get you a key with the purchase, and you can put it in there and twist. I think from the factory that arrow is pointing to the left, and that's going to be the lower speed setting. If you have it pointed like this to the front, then that's the high speed setting, and that's, quote unquote unlimited, but it's about 15 to 20 miles per hour depending on the rider weight and the condition. So flat ground concrete, probably get 20 miles per hour. If you're on hills or other stuff, then it might be more like 15. But if you have that key turned into the left one, then there's 2 speed settings, and they're adjustable with this guy. So you just hold the brake and you shift it this way to L, and that is going to give you, I think it's a 6 mile per hour speed limit. And if you go to high, it's going to give you more like a 10 mile per hour speed limit. So that is how you use that. But once you have the key turned forward, this no longer works. It's just unlimited speed. It's no longer throttled there. All right, and then back here you can see the motor. We can see 48 volts, 500 watts. That 500 watts is, I think, continuous wattage, so it does higher peak wattage in there. One last thing on the EA70 is the charging. It took me a while. I could not find where you plug this thing in to charge, but it's actually underneath here. So this battery has a connector in here, and this actually pulls out like that, and then you have to plug in the charger to that exact same port. So this port has to get unplugged. It has a little cover there that closes back down, so it's really kind of a pain. You got to hold this open and then get your wall charger and plug it into here in order to charge it up. And then when you're done, you got to take the wall charger out, line this guy back up, and push it in for it to work. So that's kind of a pain. It does work. I don't understand why they don't just have another plug somewhere else to do it. All right, on the CFMoto C-Force EV110, this one is now a 110cc size frame, and so obviously it's bigger than the EA70. And then this one's really designed for kids 10 and over. And this one is what I would call, you know, a real ATV. So you actually have nice bushings here. You have ball joints. You have a knuckle. You have hydraulic brakes that look pretty substantial there. The suspension really does work well. All that's kind of what I would expect out of a nice ATV. It's nicely damped and controlled. The thing really rides and handles really well. It's actually one of my favorites. It's nicely damped. I'm actually really impressed with how well it drives. I have a lot of fun actually driving it. I want a bigger one for sure for me. So on this one, everything's kind of tucked away. You can't see the battery from the outside. It's all tucked in there. You do have a foot brake here, and then you have a single handlebar for it's a combined brake lever there that's front and rear. You have your kill switch here that you can put on, and then you also have a separate on-off toggle there. So on this one, you have a couple different modes. As I showed before, you have a economy and a sport mode. You have front, neutral, and reverse. All right, so on this one, we have a key fob. Now, it's not quite a key fob. They call it a electronic fence receiver. And this is not required to have to actually drive the ATV. So it's a little bit confusing what the point of this thing is, but it's basically a Bluetooth receiver, and I'll show you some of the stuff that it can do with it. So if I turn this on here, we can see it starts up. All right, so this key fob is a little bit confusing because it's not really a key fob. It's not required to actually turn on the ATV, but it is required for the app setup. So if I go into my CFMoto, it's the Ride Sync app. They just changed it. It used to be a CFMoto Youth app, which does still work actually. But if I press and hold the button here for the transponder, I can see it turn green, and it's because my phone was already paired with it. I already paired this device, and I can see that it's connected, and then I can see the battery state of charge, which matches up here, 76%, and I can see my battery temperature. I can lock the ATV, and then you hear that double beep. That double beep means the ATV received it. I can unlock it now, and now it's going to go instant unlock. So you saw that ready light go on and off. So if your ready light's not on, it very well could be that it is locked in the app. So that's the only time you would need, I would say, the key fob is to unlock and lock it. And this is what's confusing to me, because the phone connects to the little fob, and then the fob appears to connect to the ATV. So I don't know why you can't just connect your phone directly to the ATV. But in here we have our settings, and you can change this speed limit. So if I turn that speed limit off, it's going to limit it down to lower speeds. But in here, what's really cool is that you can pick any speed between 15 and 28 for the high speed, or if you go down to the lower one, you can go all the way down to, I think, 4 miles per hour to limit this machine, which is great for learning because you can just tailor it to whatever speed you want, and it's going to stop there. So that's really cool. And then there's a geofence button, which you can tell it how far away you want a geofence to be. So it can be basically 1,000 feet away. But what that does is that when this key fob is 1,000 feet away, the ATV just beeps at the user and basically tells them to come back. It doesn't stop it from driving further. It doesn't let them know that they're, you know, how far away they are or anything. It just kind of gives a little indicator. So to me, it's kind of worthless, but that is a feature that it does have. And then that's really about it. I think there is some maybe vehicle status. Let's see if there's something like that, alerts. I guess if I had some kind of error codes or something, I could get those here. And if I had, I think there's a way to clear codes as well in here. But there's not a whole lot of settings in there. Now, you can also see your vehicles. I think you can see different details, probably some user manual type stuff. Of course, you get product news, press release stuff. But in here, if I go to my vehicle, I can see the owner's manual here. I can see the VIN number, when it was built, and what else can I do? That's about it. So you get a couple settings in there. My favorite one is just the speed setting. I enjoy being able to set a specific speed that's safe. Okay, so then this one has a standard thumb throttle for control there. And then if you want to put it into forward, you have to hold the brake, put it to forward, and then you can see that the S is there. If I were to put it in E mode, then that one is going to be a slower speed. I think it's about 14 miles per hour top speed. And then if I want to do reverse, you need to hold the brake. If you don't hold the brake and just flip it to reverse, it won't actually change. But then as soon as you touch the brake, then it shifts to reverse. You get 2 indicators that, and then you get the beeping. So that's how you know that you're in reverse. And then again, you have the kill switch. This one also has a horn, which is pretty loud. So nice way to get attention. And then charging is super easy because it has a little flip up like I would think you should have. You take out the little weather grommet and you just plug in the wall charger into here and it will charge up. So that is pretty nice and handy. It's just standard 110 volt charging. Probably takes, I don't know, something like 4 hours or something to charge up. It's not bad, but the range that you're going to get, if you look at it, I drove some of this miles. I only drove about 6 miles on this charge. It was 100% when we started. We used up 24% of the charging by just going 6 miles. So that's going to tell you you're only going to get about 25 miles or something for us. But I was driving it heavy on that track. So if you drive it slower on the trails, you're not full throttle the whole time, you'll get decent mileage. We don't run into a problem. If you're driving this up north in Michigan, you're going over ORV trails trying to go 50 miles, yeah, this isn't going to do that. This is really made for home use, I would say, and expect something like 20 miles of usable range out of the machine. All right, if I pop the seat open here and show you the insides, this is the only time you can see the battery. So you get a standard 12 volt battery, which is obviously really tiny because it doesn't have to crank up anything. You get actually an OBD port, that's their diagnostic port, and then you get a USB port. This USB port, as far as I can tell, is probably for plugging in the cable that charges the key fob. So I might leave the key fob just resting in here and plugged in so it stays charged all the time. Then you got your little fuse panel here, which is nice with the they're all labeled on the underside on the lid. And then here you have your high voltage battery, and this one it shows you 44 volts and 53 amp hours. You can press that button, that tells you how charged up it is. You can obviously disconnect this, and you can actually slide the whole battery out. Once you disconnect it and take the little rubber strap off, you can take this out, which I guess is a point worth making, is that they say don't store it in below freezing conditions. So in the winter time, if you're not in a garage that stays above freezing and you're not going to ride it a lot, you might want to take the battery out and store it inside where it stays warmer. All right, so I tried to cover the most important stuff that I would say from it. All three of these I've actually been pretty happy with, and even the Peg Perego, I've been very happy with it, just knowing that obviously it's a different machine than these ones here. But these really do match my daughter's age and their ability very well. So I like these. I would recommend, quite frankly, any of them for the right price, right? I mean, I guess I'll talk about the price a little bit here. The CFMoto, I think it was like $700 is about what I paid for it. The Kayo, I think, was about $1,500. And the EV110, I got a good deal on it because it was a leftover from the previous model year. So I think I paid $2,500 for it. And I think I got a really good deal on all of them. My favorite one is the EV110. My biggest complaint is just the low speed torque limit that they appear to do. Besides that, that machine's a lot of fun. I can't wait for new adult electric ones to come out. I saw Can-Am just launched 2026 adult electric Outlander, I believe it's called. So I look forward to that. And then, it's so nice to have electric ones out there on my trails. We have about 47 acres that we enjoy with 4 or 5 miles of trails. Going out there and it's quiet, you can hear all the wildlife. It's not smelly and stinky. So I really like the future of electric for ATVs. I think it's a great use case. If you have some questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments down below. I do try to answer those. And then I'll see if I can get some links. I haven't got any product discounts. I'm gonna try to get some discount codes or something for people, but most of these are sold by dealers, and so they're independent. So I can't get a great deal for you guys, but thanks for watching, and take care.